Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Flash episode 20 video. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. They set up a whole bunch of big plot points that I think are going to pay off later. One of the most fun things about when they initially cast John Wesley's ship for the series for season 1, everyone's like, oh my god, wouldn't it be awesome if he used to be the Flash somewhere? What if he was the Jay Garrick version of the Flash? We got season 1, that didn't happen. But then during season 2, when we found out that Zoom really wasn't Jay Garrick, he was just Hunter Zolomon pretending to be Jay Garrick, everyone was like, what if the real Jay Garrick is the one underneath the mask? That's my sincere hope right now. And then when Henry Allen in the episode says, Garrick, that's my mother's maiden name. Like, that's interesting. It's almost like you can see all the writers just winking from behind the camera like, did you see? Did you see the thing we just did? So number 10, WTF, I think that John Wesley's ship is going to be a version of Jay Garrick. But I don't think it's going to be our version of Henry Allen. I think it'll be Earth 2 Henry Allen. There's a lot of you that are wondering now if this means that they're going to kill Earth 1 Henry Allen. Like, oh man, does this mean that he's going to sacrifice himself, but then they'll give us Jay Garrick Henry Allen from Earth 2? Maybe, but Henry Allen is back in Central City for the rest of the season. They said for good, but that just means for the rest of the season. All bets are off because they could probably still kill someone in the finale. But number 9, WTF, they have a fake Flash that they've been using for the last week. This is so funny, Barry just miming, it's a good thing I played so many video games. And he even calls Rupture World of Warcraft Dante. Number 8, WTF, meet Rupture, Earth 2 Dante, brother of Earth 2 Cisco, who does a really good job of bringing Cisco together with his Earth 1 brother. They've been on the outs, but number 7, WTF, when they watch Zoom assassinate Rupture, they're both just like, hey, yeah, I know we hate each other and all, but seriously, bro. If you didn't see my trailer video for this episode that I did a couple days ago, I kind of explained who Rupture is. He has this really complicated backstory in the comics. His name is Armando. He's another brother. Cisco has 2 brothers in the comics. One of them is Dante, the other is Armando. But the TV show just simplifying a lot of that. Don't worry about reading Rupture stuff, but he does appear in the Vibe comic book, which was actually written by Andrew Kreisberg, the Flash showrunner. So if you really do like reading comics, you can go read that, but Rupture has this really convoluted backstory, so it's a bit confusing. Number 6, WTF, Zoom explains his grand plan to Caitlin. Oh, I'm just going to kill everybody, except for you. And I also want you to turn evil. So if you could do that right now, it'd really help. She just gives him the look like, I don't even understand why you think that would be a thing. So he's not telling her to turn into a metahuman or anything like that. He just wants her to fall in line so that he won't have to be alone anymore. So Zoom is like the personification of Sad Affleck given Speed Force. Number 5, WTF, Iris opens up about all the feels. If you are a really big fan of shipping on the show and you want to see them together because they're a big comic book couple, then you're totally going to dig where they're taking this. But don't expect them to follow the same path as like some of the more notable relationships on Arrow. Remains to be seen if they'll actually consummate their relationship. That was the big thing happening, was that she was explaining to him her true feelings. So that's the first step. Consummating that relationship is like a whole other thing down the line. That's like a whole other barrier for them to break through. They actually just had an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that directly addressed that metaphor. Breaking the barrier, crossing the singularity, having all the sex. Number 4, WTF, big reveal, Cisco is a Harry Potter fanatic. Totally not surprised. I would expect that he'd be more into like Star Wars, more science fiction based things, but I think the reason that there were so many Harry Potter references written into this is just because the average age of the person that watches The Flash would have been someone who saw every single Harry Potter film. So of all the lightning references, like I was thinking mostly of Metallica jokes, but of all the people all around the world that would watch this, the most common thing that they would have seen that this wand would seem like is Harry Potter. So Cisco has now been outed as a Harry Potter fanatic. How did you know about the convention? Number 3, WTF, Wally and Jesse find a way out of the time vault and are hit with the blast wave of dark matter. So we'll have to talk about this more in future videos depending on where they take it. But this doesn't automatically mean that this is them getting Speed Force, because there are a couple critical components in reinfusing Barry with the Speed Force that were not present when Wally and Jesse were hit with the wave of dark matter. So they were just hit with the wave. Zoom was hit with the wave while he was getting shocked with lightning. Barry was doing the same, and he had been pumped full of all kinds of chemicals. That was why he was starting to go into shock before the lightning ever struck. Like you see him just like going crazy. That's him getting jacked up with all those chemicals. Then as the lightning starts striking him, the blast wave hits him, and all those things in combination are what give him his Speed Force powers. But number 1, WTF, he goes Dr. Manhattan. If you guys haven't seen Watchmen in a while, just watch the Dr. Manhattan scene where he just turns into pure energy and has to recoalesce. He has to find a way to reform his body. Now, that's not exactly what happened with the Flash. What I think is going on here, this big Flashpoint moment, is that Barry has just been turned into pure energy, and he now exists inside the Speed Force. That's what next week's episode is. That's Kevin Smith's episode. It's called The Runaway Dinosaur. So I'll let you to wonder what that might mean, but I'll totally do a trailer video later this week. So lots of exciting stuff set up in this episode. I think they'll pay a lot of it off before the finale, but some of it might not be fully addressed till season 3. Like that Wally-Jesse moment, them getting infused with the dark matter, I think they're going to explore that more in season 3, and I'm so excited. I was hoping that Jesse Quick would come back next season, because even when they bring new characters on, it's really hard to tell whether or not the show's going to bring him back in a future season, or if it's going to up them to series regular, or anything like that, but we'll just see how this plays out over the next couple of episodes. I'm not expecting them to directly address that. Like, they'll probably just be like, oh my god, we're alive, that's wonderful, and then later it'll be like, hey wait, something weird is happening, and we'll find out what kind of powers they're getting. Here's something really interesting that Andrew Kreisberg said about them having other versions of the Flash on the show at one time, like multiple Flashes at one time. He said that the TV show isn't called Flash and Friends, it's just called The Flash. So what I think that means is that Barry Allen is going to be the only Flash on the TV show. And if they do give Wally and Jesse powers, they'll be slightly different, but they will get powers, because I think that was what that whole dark matter scene was about. So I think just because they didn't replicate the exact conditions that Barry was replicating, they're not going to get Speed Force, but they will be metahumans of some type. It's like the show is telling you, we want them to be on Team Flash and to be able to contribute, so we're going to give them some special powers. Jesse Quick is probably the smartest person in the building. Wally's a good engineer, so like they'll have other ways beyond their powers to contribute, but they'll also have powers. So whatever they end up doing, it'll look really cool. So let me know in the comments, what was your favorite part of the episode? Was it hearing the Jay Garrick name drop from Henry Allen, or was it watching Barry getting absorbed into the Speed Force? He's not dead. He's definitely not dead. There's just like so many big plot points that they just set up. So hopefully they'll pay off some of them before the end of the season. We know that we're going to learn who the man in the iron mask is during the final episode. So right now I'm just thinking based on this episode and the evidence we've seen in the past, he is going to be Earth 2 Henry Allen. While you guys wait for my next video to post, if you haven't seen it, you can click here for my Game of Thrones video from last night, and you can click here for my Black Panther Civil War video. I'm actually doing a giveaway as part of that too. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.